What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Let's Play of Massive Chalice. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the creator of Massive Chalice, Mr. Brad Muir.
Hey!
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Are you excited to show your game?
I'm totally excited
We
to show
just
it.
recorded Up at Noon. This is posting Tuesday after Up at Noon.
Yeah.
So everybody should go watch Up at Noon. Go.ign.com/Up at Noon. EPS.
Check it out. I'm on there.
You're really
What
funny.
do we talk about?
We talk about how you're not fat anymore. And how you
I'm less
somehow-
fat.
No, you're not fat at all. You've given up totally.
Thank you, sir.
Massive Chalice, drop me in. Let's get going. You were saying the right
Great.
thing, saying it's like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes.
Which is the thing that Colin Moriarty is always demanding a new one of.
Yeah.
So that makes me excited.
So
What are we doing? You're picking a house.
Did you back this game?
I did
I'm
not
gonna check
back
it right
this
now.
thing. I did not back this thing.
I'm gonna see if there are any Millers.
There
are no
has
Millers
to be
in
no
here.
Millers.
Yeah.
Nobody did this.
That's really weird.
No, I
That's
didn't.
really weird.
I am a good journalist, and I don't go around backing games.
All right.
that I'm going to be covering one
I
day.
respect that. I respect that.
And now, granted,
slightly.
I was a journalist at the time. Now I'm just a host, so I'd back it if it came out today. I'd throw you a few bucks.
So these all
probably buy
came
the
from our
game.
backers.
That's awesome.
And so this is like sweet. We'll pick the Kalmar. So a lot of the names are crazy. I don't know.
So just the last name is the.
But yeah, so
Put in
Kalmar
Steimer.
is like.
See if Steimer backed you, because Christine, my girlfriend,
Yeah?
is a big fan of Double
How do
Fine.
I
She
spell
backed the
that?
other one. Steimer.
Steimer.
Christine.
Man.
She backed the other one, the adventure
This
game.
is the worst.
She likes the adventure game. She doesn't know you yet.
Oh, okay.
And then you guys just
All
gave
right.
us costume quests. We didn't have to
All
do
right.
anything there.
How about this fish? You like this fish?
Sure, the fish looks great.
Fish. All right. So this is like you're just kind of picking your starting group. This is a new kind of feature that's going in.
Okay.
And then we do just like a quick animatic. The game isn't like super story driven.
Uh-huh.
Like it's really more of like the bookend approach where we kind of like have the setup. I think I'm just gonna skip through this real
Sure.
quick.
You're here
So
for
we
the
can show
gameplay.
more of the video game. Yeah.
Exactly.
But essentially, like you as the player, you are taking the role of this immortal ruler who's gonna like usher the this nation through this like really long war.
Gotcha.
And so the game takes place in two halves. Like we kind of drop you into the tactical half of the game. And so this is where, from like the top-down perspective, you're going to control your heroes, and you're going to be fighting these enemies called the Cadence. It's like this weird kind of like, nobody really knows much about it. It's really mysterious, and you're just kind of like trying to figure it out. They attack the nation roughly every 10 years, and all of your heroes in between the fights are going to actually, they're going to age as you
cool.
as you go through it, and they're eventually going to pass, kind of like, grow old and pass away. And it's really sad. I just want to make you feel really sad.
I was gonna say, is there like a flaming burial every time where you put their body on a little thing and roll
No,
up
I
and
mean
see?
it's like it happens so often. You'll see it when we get back to the strategy side.
Yeah.
But it happens so frequently that we I don't know. For the important deaths, we make a big deal out of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there are lots of heroes.
So many
that
people just die, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, it just happens, and you'll see it on the timeline that we have on the strategy side of the game. Like after we get through this mission.
So now, and this is one of the questions I know developers hate. How long is the game? How many? You're saying it's not story based, so I mean, how many maps and missions? I guess
It's not. So it's like very procedural, right? It's
Okay.
like we have like a bunch of different maps in the game. I think we have like roughly like 15.
Okay.
And a bunch of like different layouts, and depending on how far through the timeline you are, there'll be like new enemies will show up, and it's like a very procedural experience as you go through it. So I think that we've been clocking playthroughs at about like 14, 16
geez.
hours. Okay. Yeah, you're basically trying to survive for about 300 years until the Chalice can be like powered up. The voices that you hear in the game, it actually is a male and female character that have been kind of like bound into the Chalice.
Gotcha.
And so you'll see it when we get back to the strategy side, but yeah, they kind of serve as your advisors as you go through the game.
I guess that's an interesting point. I've never bothered to think why it's called Massive Chalice when in fact I'm just running around breeding people and making them fight and die.
Yeah, they're actually. We decided to go like just really literal with it, where there is a.
There's a massive chalice.
There is a massive chalice in Massive Chalice. I'm not above that.
No, it's fine.
I don't
Give the people what they want. No false advertising.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
clickbait here.
Yeah, I mean you bought the game. It's called Massive Chalice. There's a Massive Chalice in it. So if you played the new XCOM, I really like that video game. Very inspired by that
We're
game.
here with IGN's Brad Picks, where he tells you what games to buy instead of his.
Yeah, I really like that game. if you also like that game, you might like this game. So I recommend
it's definitely got that. It's definitely got the same feel of that. The strategy is you run around here and do
Yep,
everything.
yep. And I mean, I think that on the tactics side, we're a little bit closer to them.
Interesting.
We're there's I don't know. I just felt like they didn't really mess that one up at all.
Yeah.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
We are like we don't have cover. Like the game is more like based around line of sight.
Sure.
And scouting like with your hunter classes. But yeah, it's very similar to that game. If you played that game, I totally dig it. I think I'm gonna so the objective in the tactical missions is really just to like find all the enemies and kill them so that you can get back to the strategy side.
Gotcha.
So these they're called pawns. Like this one is actually called a seed. There are like 7 different enemies, and then they have upgraded versions that you'll see as you go through the game. But yeah, they're all kind of based around the physical manifestations of the effects of time.
Okay.
So like these enemies are based on the concept of like unchecked growth, and they have like sort of a father unit that you see a little bit later, or more like a mother unit, I guess, later in the game. That's called a cradle that will actually shoot out additional seeds.
Oh,
and it's
shooting
sort of
seeds
like,
out.
They're just like multiplying.
When you say it like that, it kind of sounds like a father figure. Shooting
yeah,
seeds
it's
out.
just shooting the seed
Spreading
out.
that seed.
But yeah, so you're really like on these like search and destroy missions where you're just trying to locate all these enemies on the map and kill them. I think that I'm gonna jump past this though. How much time do we have? We don't have like a ton of time.
No, we don't have a million hours here. Nothing. Well, you just kill everybody.
Yeah, so this is a dev build of the game, so
Yeah.
like I can cheat throughout this thing and everything. But
You could give yourself all the Steve achievements if you want.
I probably could.
I'm pretty sure I just called the Steam achievements Steve
probably
achievements. I'm sorry, everybody. There
w-
isn't a man named Steve giving out achievements.
When your heroes level up, so you can see their sigils, like these are their like their house. When they level up, like they have a skill tree and they can unlock new abilities. That's familiar to like anybody who's played an RPG and stuff. You can see their stats. One thing I didn't talk about is that they all have these genetic traits in here. Like this Isabel, she is nearsighted and has asthma.
That's tough. That's
And
bad
then they
break.
also have personality traits. So we try to have this like nature-nurture split to the game. So she's cocky and oblivious as well. And these impact the character's stats. When you come back to the strategy side, so you're going to be looking at the we're going to looking at the map of the nation from the top down, and this is kind of like you as the immortal ruler, like looking at the nation through your mind's eye,
Gotcha.
and you're kind of managing the nation. So you can see that this stuff around here, this is actually the thing that you're fighting. It's called the cadence, and every 10 years it sends its pawns into one of these regions in order to try to corrupt it. So you see, it operates on like a 3-strike system. So if one of these territories gets corrupted fully, it will be completely destroyed. It'll kind of fall into that like soup of the thing, and you're here in the capital, and you're trying to actually like defend the entire nation. So this is
Your throne.
This is what we call a keep in the game. So there are 3 different kinds of buildings that you can build on the map. But in the keep, this is where you're actually making one of the most important decisions you make in the game is who are you going to marry together?
Yeah, of course.
So you can click to get a preview of like, so this is Gwendolyn de Galt. She's a caberjack and like
Average fertility.
so we can check out average fertility, right? And that's super important because it's kind of all about babies.
So okay, this is what you're talking about, where I go through and I get to see all their personality, but more importantly their traits, and see who.
Yep.
If I want to put this, I don't want to use the infertile person.
Right. So Alan Reckford, if I put him here, I'm gonna have to like the only option for that will be adoption.
Gotcha.
In order for him to have kids. But so yeah, we can kind of look and be like, oh, like okay, Kyle Lemaster, this guy has high fertility. He's got this bountiful trait. So he might have like,
but he's clumsy.
Lemaster in the bedroom, Greg Miller.
Oh.
I think it's supposed to be more genetic though. It's not necessarily.
Lemaster in the streets, new regent in the sheets.
So yeah, so this is like there's a bunch of different factors you're looking at, like what class is this character? Do you like playing with? So this is our like heavy melee class, the caberjack.
Gotcha.
Do you like that? The hunter is more of our range class.
So stick with me here. I know it'll probably have consequences. But
Sure.
stick with me. When I get to go out in battle, I can build my entire squad the way I want it. So I could have just one squad of melee people. Now, granted, I should have somebody to look ahead and do different things. But I can just have one badass
You totally
squad.
can.
Interesting.
You can totally do it yourself. Yeah. So like This is not bad, actually. This character, Gwendolyn, she's also, you want to look for high-level characters. That's another thing, because they end up passing their experience on to their kids.
No way. Okay,
so
okay.
it's, so Gwendolyn here is level 2. She's our high. This is sorted by experience right now.
And this is experience you've gained, or is this stuff they're earning organically?
No, it's the experience that you've gained in combat.
Okay.
So that's primarily how you're leveling characters up. And then, because they're all going to pass away and die, you want to, like, level your characters up on the battlefield, retire them, and then have them have kids, pass on their experience to the kids, and then those are the kids that you'll be fighting, like, in the next generation. So
this is fascinating.
You're
fascinating. Your game is fascinating, Brad.
Well, thank you, Mr. Miller. So now I'm looking for what we call the partner. So that's the regent, the character that sits in the throne.
Okay.
Is the regent, and it's their bloodline that you're established. So you can see, so this is the DeGalt bloodline. All the kids will be DeGalts. They'll use the DeGalt house colors.
Gotcha.
They'll all be primarily Caberjacks as well. So if I were to marry Gwendolyn to this guy, Kyle, hey, we were looking at him, right?
He's a bountiful. He's also high.
So they would have a lot of kids. Since they're both Caberjacks, their kids would be Caberjacks.
And Caberjacks, what exactly?
We have a Caberjack is like a heavy melee fighter
Gotcha,
that fights with this big. It's kind of like a big log. It's like a medieval. It's like a.
SWAT, I've seen it.
It's like a SWAT team battering ram. But,
I thought he looked like an American
style.
Gladiator. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But like this character Thomas is an alchemist. They fight with like these explosive potions. So if I were to marry these two characters together, they would actually have a hybrid class kids. They'd be primarily Caberjacks, but they would also use like the alchemist abilities as well.
But
so
you don't get
like
to pick what
hybrid.
ability. It just happens organically.
Yep. They just have like a different skill tree. I was showing that skill tree. The skills will be different that they get, and it's sort of like a mixture of both of the characters. So we'll just do this. We'll just go for this.
Here, you're married to Lex Luthor. Congratulations.
Okay, so now they're married together, and their kids will be like have a combination of their skills, and they'll have a combination of like we'll see when the kids start.
I was gonna say, how long do you have to wait for these kids to pop out?
You can't rush these things. They're definitely gonna be trying though. Okay, so one of the other major things that you're gonna be doing is kind of like determining. I'm gonna skip this real quick. Like this is the actual chalice itself.
Sure.
But so this is your advisor. It kind of sits with you in the capital city of the nation. And here you can see this is where you can manage like all of your heroes. But then another super important thing that you're going to be doing is managing the research of the nation. So you can build new buildings in all of those the 10 regions of the nation. You can research new armor for your characters, new weapons, new items. There's also we have a lot of technology that comes from defeating the enemies. So when you kill any of those pawns, you kill enough of them. So if I were to kill enough seeds, I can make this thing called a sponge stone, and then that gives my heroes life leech that I equip it to. It's kind of Mega Man-esque, like that you can use their abilities against them. And there's just like a huge tech tree in the game. There's all sorts of stuff. You can also recruit new heroes because a lot of these heroes are going to be dying, and you need to be making keeps. One of the most important things that you do though is make these keeps. Make new keeps so that you can establish new bloodlines. So you can pick any of these regions around the nation. We'll just pick this one in the marshland here. And you see that this thing is under construction, and so that's going to take 7 years for them to build it. The end of the game, you need to last for 300 years, and then the Chalice has promised you that it's kind of building up energy to cleanse the entire nation of the cadence. And if you if you can.
So the whole point of the game is just to live the 300 years.
Very, very defensive in nature.
Gotcha,
So you really it's about setting up your pieces, right? It's we have this bloodline that started, and now we just hope that they're gonna have kids, and there's this big play button up here, and we're just gonna hit it, and then time ramps up, and you can see we're already in the second year.
There you go.
And then bam,
babies.
Right away, babies.
Now, can you put these infants right into battle?
You cannot. So this baby will actually stay here. So this is Eversore.
I get it.
So these all come from our backers and stuff. So we can see that Eversore DeGalt has
bear strength,
which is really good for a melee fighter. That's increased strength. So you have and hardy.
Dang.
That's really good. The personality traits don't get determined until the character comes of age at 15. So at 15 years of age, they'll actually so they're gonna keep trying to have more babies, and we'll watch that character grow up.
So right now, time out.
Sure.
No, you can keep playing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Just for our conversation, your demo. The people who are having the babies right now, are they out of commission? Can we not use them in fight? Okay.
You absolutely cannot use them in battle anymore. It's kind of like a one-way ticket. So now we can start another bloodline here. So we already have a Caberjack house, so we might want to start a hunter house. That's our third class.
Is that like your scouts?
Yeah, they're kind of like scouts and like archers. They fight with like
Gotcha.
these big shoulder-mounted crossbows. Let's see this other hunter. So we can sort it by class. Check it out and see like all of our hunters. So we got a lot of caberjacks. Only 2 hunters, and so I think we'll start.
Put them together.
Yeah, we'll start this one.
Knock them boots.
And then we'll look at. So this is interesting. Like I think that. Oh no, we didn't marry this character.
Yeah, we
off.
made jokes about him, but we didn't do anything to
We
him.
made jokes about him, but yeah, we'll do this, and then again, these characters like primarily will use the crossbow and be a ranged character, but they'll have a bunch like they'll be a little bit harder and beefier and have like additional skills that use some of the caberjack abilities as well. So at that point, like we can choose a new thing to research. Like we'll research some new armor.
Cool.
Get that going.
15 years. Wow.
And yeah, that's gonna take 15 years to go, and then you just fire up the timeline. So this is like the core loop of the game is that you're just kind of like waiting around.
And then is this the
for a
only
big
time you
attack.
fight? Is when people come and attack you like
These
this?
are the only times that you fight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're not out there trying to start stuff. You're just trying to survive.
You're just trying to survive. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So here, like the cadence almost always attacks multiple locations at the same time.
Jerks.
So you just have to decide. So
Does
here,
it matter
like,
which one you pick? Like, would
so-
it like be close? If you went to the one on the left, would the one on the right have a chance to come out and get that keep up there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is there are 10 regions in the nation, and
Okay.
so once the outer one has been destroyed, then the inner one is like available to
That
get
much
attacked.
closer, okay.
So right here it's like this one's pretty simple. This decision gets much harder as you go into the game. But if we were to lose this region, then this keep would be exposed. You
Sure.
don't really have anything over here.
Gotcha.
You also though you can see what types of enemies you're going to be fighting.
Oh.
And then also there are different rewards. So this one will reduce the current research time I have of that armor, and then this one will actually get like a new character. We'll get a new hunter recruited, but this seems to be the best one. And the one that you ignore will actually take a point of corruption. We'll actually get like on that 3 strike system that I was talking about. So these are the 5 slots that you have to deploy characters into the actual tactical combat. And so you see there are a couple of gaps, and that's because those were characters that I retired, right?
Yeah. You made them.
We start you out with 15 characters, though. So you saw that's basically the same list, minus the 4 that we've put into keeps. So here I'm just kind of like I can look at like what they would look like in the thing, and I can check out their stats, see what level they are, and then you can adjust their equipment as well here. So if you've researched items and armor and weapons, you can equip those.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can also see we have like a family tree in the game. So this is the DeGault family. Like you can see that. This guy's got a couple of siblings. So this is actually Gwendolyn was the first character that we retired.
Yeah.
So this is like her brother,
Nice.
Cesar. And so yeah, you're really like just trying to fill out the best squad. The different classes have like strengths and weaknesses against the different types of enemies. And then when you deploy, the characters kind of like jump into the Chalice. They get teleported to the battlefield, and then you're gonna be like clearing out
here doing your
the
thing.
enemies. Yeah.
Brad, your game's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is the full loop, though. It's like you're basically going to be doing this. There's one other aspect of the game is that there are kind of like these. Like I said, it's not a very story-based game, which is true. But we have a system very inspired by FTL. If you played FTL,
I did.
that we call it random event system, just like text-only story nuggets that pop up, and you just have to make decisions. They center around your heroes, like usually something bad or weird happens to one of your heroes. You have to make a decision, and then either like good or bad things can happen because of that. And that kind of just helps break up the that loop of the gameplay that we saw.
That's right.
with these things, and hopefully it helps you get like a little closer to your heroes. You just feel a little bit more connected to them because they went through like
You were there for their trauma.
yeah, it's like they fought through this like tournament and they arrived.
Yeah.
They like came out victorious, and now you're like, yeah, and they got a nickname from it. And you're like, yeah, like this is Typhon Kerberos, like this guy.
He's lived.
You're like, yeah, he's lived, and now he's like super awesome.
Well, rad. Brad, this is Massive Chalice.
This
it's
is
out
Massive
on
Chalice,
early
yeah.
access right now on Steam.
Yep.
Next year it's coming out as a full-fledged game to Steam and the Xbox One.
Yep.
And then one day maybe somewhere else.
One day maybe somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring it to PlayStation and
Yeah.
Vita and tablet and what are we talking about? WonderSwan.
Yeah,
That's
the
actually a
WonderSwan
thing.
is the one we
Get it-
brought up on
Get
Upstream.
it on the WonderSwan. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and showing it.
Thanks for-
Everybody,
thanks for having
share this
me.
video with your friends. These are the kind of cool games we need to keep going. If I do say so myself, because this is cool and different and neat.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we try to keep it, try to make things It's not typical like orcs and elves and typical high fantasy
Sure,
stuff
sure.
that you see.
It's all about sexing, which I like a lot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
freakiness.
A lot of knocking boots off screen.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For everything about this game, every other game, and knocking boots, keep it here on IGN.